Hey, Jack here, and we're going to do a beginning oboe lesson. So the first thing you want to do is get your oboe case on the floor with the label facing up, because you don't want to open the case and have the oboe falling out on the floor. So if you have the label facing up, you're going to avoid that. In the first step, what I always do before I even put my oboe together is begin to soak my reed. So there's my reed. I've just got a little glass of water. This one is a Snow White glass for some reason. Yeah, I'm just going to dip it in there for a few seconds. Let the water kind of work its way in there. And then I'm just going to kind of put it off to the side there for a minute. Then we can put our oboe together. So we're going to start with the bell and the lower joint. You'll see the cork here goes down into the bell. And if you feel like you're forcing it, you're going to want to put some cork grease on your cork there. Just use your finger and put a little bit on. But yeah, so you're just going to kind of, a little bit of pressure and twist, avoiding putting pressure on any of the key mechanisms because they are fragile and you'll break them if you put too much pressure on them. Now we take the upper joint, which goes into the middle joint here, like so. And we're going to take care to, get that in the image there. Put it in like so that these bridge keys line up. I'll point them out when I'm done here. Again, being very careful not to break any key mechanisms. See, there's the bridge key. Do you see how it lines up right there? And right here too. Okay? And there you have it, a fully constructed oboe, minus the reed, which I will dip in the water one more time. So putting the oboe off to the side, now our reed is nice and soaked. Let's try to make a sound on it. And this is how we form our oboe embouchure, okay? You're going to put the reed on your lower lip, halfway between the tip and the little colorful thread here. And then you're just going to hug down on the reed with your lips. And when I say hug because it's not a squeeze. You don't want to think tension, you want to think relaxation. So you're hugging the reed from all directions. And then put the tip of your tongue on the reed and blow a fast laser beam of air down into the reed while removing your tongue, and you should articulate a note. Let's see if I can do it. And that's what it'll sound like, okay? So from there, we're just going to take our reed, which also has a cork on it, I'll add. So you might need to put a little cork grease on it. And we're going to just place it into the little hole at the top of the oboe here. And you're going to make sure when you're looking down at the reed that it's going to set on your lower lip in the right way so that you can hug it, okay? So now that we're holding the oboe and we've got the reed, I should tell you about the correct way to hold the thing, okay? So you'll notice on the back here you've got a thumb rest. Your right thumb, kind of the knuckle part, is going to go right underneath it. And then your hand wraps around and goes 1, 2, 3. And your pinky kind of sits on these other little keys hanging out on the side there. I want to point out that the fingers are at a slightly downward angle there, okay? Don't have to worry about getting them perfectly straight or anything. They're kind of at a slightly downward angle. And on that note, your fingers naturally curve when you put them by your side, and that's how we're going to want to play when we play use our hands when we play the oboe, okay? Good way to get this feeling is to just pick up a glass of water, and your hands will naturally do that. So that's what I'm doing when I wrap my hand around the oboe too. It's nice and relaxed and curved. And then the right hand, we don't have a thumb rest for this part. So our thumb sets beneath this little key in the back, which we will call the octave key. We're not going to deal with that quite yet, but you just put your thumb back there and same deal. 1, 2, 3. And your pinky hangs out on these little guys that are hanging out to the left. There you go. And same thing. They're a little bit curved down. They're a little bit angled down, which is good. I do want to point out that the top key here, which is corresponding to your index finger of your left hand, look at it right now and you'll see a little hole in it. You're going to want to make sure that your finger is covering that hole at all times, okay? Well, there will be times that you don't, but not quite yet. That's for a later lesson. Okay? So, now, the first notes. B, A, and G. Nothing in your right hand. Remember, you're stabilizing it with that thumb rest. B is just your index finger. Remember, you're covering that hole. A is index and middle finger. And G is index, middle finger, and ring finger. And why don't we go ahead and call these index is 1, middle is 2, and ring is 3. So B is 1, A is 1 and 2, G is 1, 2, and 3. Okay? And with these 3 notes, we can pick out Mary Had a Little Lamb. Okay? I'm going to play it for you. Yep. And you're going to, this is the point where you're going to find out if your reed is soaked well enough or not. Which, by the way, you can kind of look at your reed, and if it's opened up a bit, and it kind of looks like an eye shape, then you're probably in good shape. I'm kind of there. It's all good. So, you could pick out that Mary Had a Little Lamb just by yourself, learning it by ear. I'm sure you've heard it many times. Yeah, and that's about it. That's the first oboe lesson. I want to point out that your oboe playing will be much easier if you have a very nice posture, okay? Because if I'm scrunching my neck, or I'm tensing the hands, or I'm hunched over like this, my air is not going to be able to work correctly, and it's very important that you have a nice, direct, like I said earlier, laser beam of airstream to play the oboe. And to do that, you're going to want to keep your body nice and straight and bring the oboe up to yourself. Okay? So enjoy your first notes on the oboe. Try to play Mary Had a Little Lamb. Try to just mess around and make your own melodies with it. And that's when it starts to get fun. And the next time we'll come back and we'll learn a little bit more about the oboe. Thank you.